This is an essential video to watch if you're someone who trains a lot or is planning on taking your training up a level. The biggest question I get from clients is, what do I do if I'm injured? How do I stop myself getting injured? We're going to cover the 5 different ways to stop yourself getting injured before it happens. And as a little bonus at the end, I'm going to tell you what to do if you get injured and still want to train. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now you'll notice I'm outside the gym today. Typically most of my videos when it comes to things like working out are filmed inside my gym. I've chosen to film this one outside the gym for one key reason. The majority of the way you can avoid getting injured happens before you even get to the gym. I know you might be thinking, Mike, how can that be possible? All my injuries have happened at the gym. Well, I want to talk about the foundations of lifting and how to lift safely. A lot of that starts with the things you do before you get to the gym. Great example, being well rested. Your chances of injury go up exponentially if your body is not well rested. What do I mean by rested? Taking rest days from the gym, having enough sleep. When your body is tired, letting it recover, not abusing yourself to the point of endangering your muscles. Having a solid, healthy diet is also going to help reduce inflammation. And if you couldn't tell, more inflammation leads to more chance of injury. Having a solid, whole food-based nutritional diet is going to make a huge difference when it comes to preventing injuries. If your body's all inflamed and fucked up from chocolate and sugary carbs, you're going to have a bad time at the gym. You're not going to perform well, but you're also going to be at greater risk of injury. So sort your diet out before you even think about training. Another key factor is hydration. When you're more hydrated, your joints can be more lubricated, everything is going to move a little bit nicer. One of the prime times for bodybuilders to risk injury is when they're fully dehydrated leading up to show day. A lack of hydration and lubrication in the joints is prime time to get injured. So you need to have high water intake, a solid diet, and make sure you're well rested before we even talk about going to the gym. Now, what do we do when we're at the gym to prevent injury? This might seem pretty self-explanatory, but the thing is, as you start to see results when you train, your ego is going to get a little bit inflated. You're going to start taking shortcuts and thinking you don't need to do certain things. Stick to these rules. Number 1 is warm up. Never jump into an exercise cold. You never want to go straight into a working set of any exercise without first doing a little feeler set or without first doing a number of exercises before that. Regardless of how strong you are, you can't jump onto a bench press and do your working weight. Your preparedness for exercise doesn't really change as you get more muscular. You still need to warm up and get your muscles ready. Key part of my warm up is also stretching, a mixture of dynamic and static stretching. There's mixed literature on this. Some scientific research says static stretching makes you weaker throughout an exercise. I find it actually opens up my muscles and allows them to contract better. I've followed the protocol of a warm up feeler set followed by stretching for pretty much every exercise throughout the entire decade I've been training. When I say I've had little to no injuries, I mean it. I've been training for almost a decade. I've had 1 shoulder injury in my first year of training. From that point onwards, I have not been injured. Now, as I always do, I like to keep things straight to the point. I've told you how to prevent injuries. What happens if you've made a bit of a mistake, perhaps your ego lifting, or perhaps you did nothing wrong, and your body just decided to hit you with an injury? How can you still continue to train and not throw your progress out the window when your body's injured? Well, I want to start by saying if it's a major injury, your body will benefit from some overall time off from the gym. Your central nervous system will need some time to cool down. Your body will want to dedicate as much growth and repair to that specific area if it's a very major injury. If it's a slight tweak and you feel confident that you can work through it, what I would do is change exercises and rewrite your program a little bit to accommodate this injury. Let's say you've got a bit of a shoulder twinge. Let's remove all pressing from your workouts. Any exercise that starts to trigger that injury feeling, cut it out. The good thing about the gym is there's a large enough variety of exercises and machines that you can typically work around injured muscles. When I had my 1 injury that I've ever had, it was a shoulder injury, and I got it from bench pressing. So for 6 to 8 months, I removed all pressing movements. So for shoulder day, tricep day, chest day, I removed pressing. On chest, I now just did fly movements. On shoulders, I now just did raises. If you like help structuring your workout, perhaps you've got a bit of a injury in your shoulder, for example, and you want some help structuring your workout that works around a specific injury, that's what I can do. I literally do that for a living. Feel free to drop me a DM down below. You can work around injuries if you need to. Now, I want to say something important here. If your injury is major, or for any kind of injury, the best thing you can do is treat it with respect and get it looked at by a professional first. I have made this mistake. I did this with my shoulder. Like I said, as you start getting results at the gym, your ego starts to raise, you start thinking you're a little bit invincible, especially if you're a man. I hate to say it, we're a lot worse at this. You've got to realize that you're not bulletproof. Sometimes things will twinge and they need time to repair. The best bet is to get them looked at by a professional. Take every necessary precaution to prevent injury, but if something feels injured, please get it looked at. Don't just push through it. At the very least, remove exercises that hurt it but the best thing you can do is get a physio or a doctor to look at it. I wish someone had told me this when I was 18, 19, and I just pushed through it with blasé and fucked myself even more. Let's recap over what we discussed. To prevent injury, you want to be well hydrated, have a great nutritious diet, make sure you're well rested with enough sleep and rest days. When you actually get to the gym, make sure you incorporate warm-up sets and stretching. Everything should feel nice and warm and ready to work before you start working it. Finally, if you do get injured, if the unfortunate happens, you can work around injuries, just make sure you get them checked out by a professional first. I promise you, it may seem expensive, it may seem like a waste of time, but if the difference between seeing someone like a physio and not is 3 months of injury-free training, trust me, that's worth it. Short video today. Like I said, the process for avoiding injuries is actually quite simple. The difficult part comes in still doing it over and over again, every session, day in, day out. And with that said, I'll see you on the next one.